What's up, gamers, and welcome to my Fire Sorcerer build video for Season 1, the Season of the Malignant. Now, if any of you guys are out there actually playing Sorcerer right now, you know that times is hard, let me tell you. But when I initially started a Sorcerer on the launch day of Season 1, I said, you know what? Huge nerfs for Sorcerer. If there's enough biting and complaining about it, we're going to get huge buffs. And according to the campfire chat a couple days ago, they did say they're going to rework the sorcerer a little bit and buff them up. So I'm pretty stoked about that. But until then, this build is getting me by. I'm going to explain and break down the enchantments, the skills, my skill tree, my gear, everything like that. So make sure to check the timestamps below if you want to jump to a specific part. But with that being said, let's go ahead and get into it. It's going to be a fairly quick video today because we don't have a Paragon board to go over because it just recently hit 50 and went into World Tier 3. I completed the World Tier 3 capstone dungeon at 42, and from 42 to 50, it's been a little bit of a struggle, but I'm finally starting to feel like I have a somewhat viable build that isn't have anything to do with ice. There's a lot of ice builds out there. I ran ice in the Eternal Realm pre-Season 1. And more or less, I'm just trying to find something else that jives with this. Also, if you watch streamers, perhaps, outside of YouTube, check my link in the description for my Twitch chat. I'm live every night over there. Come hang out with us and throw some ideas my way, or let's talk sorcerer type stuff. But let's go ahead and get into it. So starting off with the skills, a little limited here in my enchantments. I'm taking Firebolt to get that increased 23% burn damage to everything because more or less we are burning everything as much as we possibly can. So the 23% increased burn damage is going to be somewhat effective, as well as the Firewall. Now, the other day someone had mentioned to me, I didn't use Firewall previously to this build, but apparently it used to be a flat rate of 5% chance to spawn 2 Firewalls whenever you cast Firewall, but now it's switched to a lucky hit, and you have a 25% chance when dealing burning damage at all to spawn 2 Firewalls. So we've got some lucky hit chance here and there. We've got lucky hit chance with barrier. We've also got the 3 pieces in on the skill tree for lucky hit. Trying to get that lucky hit up as much as possible so we can see and utilize more Firewalls, because that's always going to be better. So from left to right here, we've got Teleport. Obviously, a little bit of mobility. It's not a fire spell, but you kind of need it, I guess. Secondly, Firewall. We've got 2 item contribution going into Firewall for 7 out of 5. Obviously, we're just going to spam these. We also get free cast from the new legendary aspect, which is pretty nice. Flame Shield. The way I have my build set up, I almost constantly have Flame Shield up, which is kind of cool. I've always wanted to find a way to do that, and I believe it's not totally foolproof perfect, but it works for now. Inferno, pull in, burn, more burn, all the burn. Firebolt for our left click, and right click is Hydras. So that's pretty much the way we have our enchantments and skill bars set up. So let's go ahead and get into let's start with gear. Yeah, we'll start with gear, why not? So from the top down, we've got the Runic Skull Cap of the Protector, which is going to give us our barrier, one of our barrier generations, because we have this stat on our helmet that gives us lucky hit chance while you have a barrier regeneration, as well as healing received, which normally is not important, but for this build, it actually does help us out quite a bit with survivability and sustain and things like that, because all of the fire damage we do heals us, which is pretty cool. So there's that. We're going down to the Warlord Plate of the Unwavering, which is going to give us Conjuration skill damage for our Hydra skill damage, which is nice. Additional fire damage, flat damage percentage, and all stats could be re-rolled, but I'm broke, as I'm sure most of you are. The big thing with this, though, is taking direct damage has a 5% chance to reset the cooldown of your defensive skills. So I have 2 defensive skills. 1, Teleport. 2, Flame Shield. I try not to use Teleport as much as I can, because this actually procs a lot more often than 5% of the time, it seems like. So if I go into a fight and say there's 10 mobs, I cast Flame Shield. By the time Flame Shield falls off, I can recast it again. So that is a 20-second cooldown that I can pretty much recast almost instantly most of the time because of this legendary aspect. So if you don't have this, I would suggest testing it out, trying it out for yourself. It's pretty fun. So next we go on to the Archon Gauntlets of Audacity. We've got overpower damage on there. I tried to re-roll to something more beneficial than chain lightning stacks or something like that. Not the best gloves, obviously. But we do have, while there are 5 enemies close, stun them. So, more CC, more crowd control always helps. We've got, over here, I believe, damage to immobilized, stunned, or frozen. So that's just additional. We're always mobilizing people with this build. So just the additional damage to stunned helps. Although they did fix that enchant, it used to deal like 40% or whatever percent individual damage, whether they were stunned, frozen, or immobilized. So if you did all 3, you were doing like 150% more damage. But they have nerfed that to the point where it only does one of the 3 now. So that's interesting. But nevertheless, next we have, after spending 200 mana, your next firewall is free to cast and will destroy incoming small missiles. I don't understand the freaking small missiles shit, whatever. I guess you could cast firewalls and stand behind it and not get hit by attacks or something. I don't know. I guess there's like a boss that might work against. The guy that like summons like 7 purple orbs and throws them at you, the big blood looking dude. I'm not sure if it works for that or not. That might not count as small missiles, but the second part of this is kind of stupid, but the first part is awesome, and I would love to find a legendary aspect that says 100 instead of 200. So this is just the one from, the guy that makes imprints. I can't remember the freaking what it's called right now. But anyway, we've also got 2 rings to firewall in here, total armor, which is always nice, max life, which is always nice. Gives pants and chest are pretty much your survivability item as far as I'm concerned. Isu's heirloom, not a big deal, just unique boots. I get to move a little faster whenever I dodge, so really nothing cool about that. But everybody knows that that's not the best in slot boots by any means. So a little bit of a thing here. So I'm taking this staff simply for the base damage stat and the vulnerable damage. That's literally about it. I don't really do anything that makes things vulnerable with this build. Obviously, I give a shit less about vulnerable damage now since they have nerfed it through the ground. But as well as basic seal damage, like this staff actually sucks other than the base damage stat. And I was using Incinerate before, but I switched from Incinerate to Hydras. One, to have 100% uptime on that additional damage, because Incinerate, you have to stand still and you have to do this and that. So I recently switched away from Incinerate, but I do still have this aspect on here. So this could be better. It's also imprinted, so I could change it to something else. Just have to have the money and the resources, and I'm broke, so it is what it is. Here we go on our accessories here. Choker of the Armageddon is going to give us a flat damage increase, as well as a hail of meteorites fall during Inferno. This is the biggest reason I took Inferno, because it's also going to immobilize enemies for 3 seconds, which gives us, additional damage from Devouring Blaze, which was nerfed through the freaking ground substantially, but it still does some additional damage, which is nice. And the heart as well. The heart is important for this build. Your damage over time effects increased by 40.5% for each different crowd control effect on the target. So the only crowd control effect that we're going to be doing is immobilizing, but we also have the chance to stun them, every 20 seconds. So there's that. Yeah. Next, we got our additional damage to immobilize, stunned, or frozen, and we are doing immobilize. We also have the Vicious Heart for 64% increased critical strike damage, but your non-critical strike deal 23%. So Firewall does not crit, supposedly I was told. Like I said originally, I've never done a fire build before, so I've never messed with a Paragon. But someone had told me that there is a Paragon tree that allows Firewall to crit. So I'm working towards that, and that's where I really think that this Vicious Heart's going to shine. Because we don't do a whole lot of critting right now, but if we do crit with Firebolt, then our Hydras crit. After you critically strike, your Hydras gain 30% increased critical strike chance, so our Hydras are critting. So they're also going to do... Yeah, the Hydra I've always slept on, and it actually does really good damage, so I'll show you guys in a little bit. This ring enchant gives us an additional Hydra, but the duration is reduced, which still, even though it's 12% reduced duration, it still lasts throughout most of the fight. So yeah, that's pretty much my gear. My stats real quick, nothing crazy. 2,000 attack power, 4,000 armor, 1,500 life. We've got 12% chance to crit, 50% crit damage. Yeah, really nothing too crazy to go through here since we don't have Paragon board quite yet. But I will take you through the skill tree. So let's go ahead and start from the top. I've got 1 point into Firebolt and Piercing Firebolt and Flickering Firebolt for the mana regen in the event that we need it. We go down here, we skip the core skills. Like I said, I have tried Incinerate Firebolt and just doesn't seem to do as much damage as the ones I have set up at the moment. We're going to go 1 point into Devastation for increased mana, and then 3 into Core and Mastery skills, deal 9% increased damage when cast above 50 mana. Most of the time when we're spamming our Firewall, it is above 50% mana. We get a lot of free casts too, so that's pretty nice. We're taking some Flame Shield here. Obviously, you could just go 1 point into Flame Shield, put the 2 points somewhere else, like into like Barrier Generation or something like that to help you with your lucky hit chance for Firewall. But I just have 25% mana cost reduction while Flame Shield's active, so we can spam more at a lesser cost for sure. So there's that. We just got 1 point in Teleport here. You could probably get rid of these two, but, you know, damage reduction does not hurt at all, especially whenever you're teleporting. You're more than likely teleporting out of a fight, so that damage reduction is going to help out for sure. Next, we go 5 points into Hydra. I really feel like Hydra is kind of the big shiner in this build. It does a whole lot of damage, especially after you critically strike. Your Hydras gain 30% increased critical strike chance. I wish that was damage. There's nothing that really does critical strike damage in a big kind of way, but other than this new Malignant Heart that we got, which is pretty stoked. But besides the point, 5 points into Hydra, Enhanced Hydra, and Invoker Hydra, or Invoked Hydra. Apologies. Obviously, we have to take this 15% increase lucky hit chance since Firewall is literally based off lucky hit chance. So that's huge. We've got the 3 in Enter Flames, 3 in Devouring Blaze. God, dude, it really sucks seeing that freaking 30% to immobilize. This used to be like 125% or something crazy. Pyromancy skills also have a chance to immobilize. I didn't really feel like this was super important, but I took it anyway because we are immobilizing with the meteors from Inferno, as well as we were immobilizing from. You know what? Actually, matter of fact, I might put. I'm making a change on the fly here. We're gonna take 2 out of Flame Shield and put it back into here because the reason I took it down to 1 was because Incinerate. When I was using Incinerate, it has a talent here that says every 3 seconds an enemy's hit by Incinerate, they're immobilized for 1 second, so I took some points out of that, but now we're going to put them back in because I feel like it's probably important since we have no other way to immobilize outside of Inferno. So that's pretty good. Our Firewall, obviously another huge portion of our damage. Hydra and Firewall definitely going to be our big damage dealers here. So we're going to go into Regenerate Mana because we want to be able to pump out as many Firewalls as absolutely possible. Another small note I want to make is I would really like to go to 2 a main hand and an offhand weapon simply for the attack speed. If you did not know, attack speed does not only count towards your regeneration ability, but your ability to cast spells quicker. So if I can find something, preferably, I would like to go with a wand and a focus or something like that, so that we could pump out firewalls faster, which would also, you know, just be all around better in my opinion, I believe. Inferno, we go all the way to Supreme. So while it's active, our pyromancy skills don't cost any mana, which is pretty nice. Here we got a killing fiery surge. Killing a burning enemy increases your mana regeneration. So lots of mana regen just built into this, which is kind of nice. It means we don't really need it on trinkets and rings and such like that. So that's pretty dope. After you stand still, you get more mana, or spend less mana. Apologies. Warmth, here's the part where we heal ourselves quite a bit, actually. Every 1 second, you heal for 0.9% of your maximum life for each nearby burning enemy. So if you're standing in a crowd of them, everybody's burning, you're healing so fast that they can't even do, you know, they can't kill you fast enough, especially with the constant uptime on Flame Shield and such. So, yeah, pretty awesome. Another 3 points in the Endless Pyre. Deal increased burning damage to enemies for each second they remain burning, up to 15% after 5 seconds. Pretty dope. Bounce back and forth between Isu's Ferocity and Combustion here. Since we're not doing a whole lot of crit at the moment, I have decided to go with Combustion because unique 2% increased damage for each unique source of burning. So we have Firebolt, we have Hydras, we have Flame Shield burns them, we have Firewall that burns them. So anytime there's 3 or more sources, this bonus is doubled. So if we've got 5 sources to 2% and it's doubled, so additional 20% damage just from using so many different ways to burn things. So I feel like that's pretty good for now until we can start critically striking with Firewall or anything and everything all together. So that's pretty much my skill tree. As far as Paragon goes, like I said, just hit 50. Really not a huge chunk up into here. I was under the impression when we started the new map or the season that we were gonna have all of our renown already unlocked. So that is not the case. So I have to go unlock all these Paragon points again after I already spent so much time doing it already. And I guess I would assume that's just because they reset. They left the areas discovered in the Altars of Lilith, and that's it. Everything else, no bueno. So let's get that figured out. I'm going to jump into a dungeon real quick. And it's only going to be a tier 1 because, to be quite fair, nightmares in World Tier 3 feel very freaking hard right now. So yeah, let's go ahead and send it. Wait, where the heck did the... There it is. I didn't even check the stats to see what the heck it was all about. If you guys have watched the video up to this point and, you've enjoyed my content, I'd appreciate it if you hit the like button and subscribe. That would be super sick. Trying pretty hard here to get some Diablo content out and going for you guys, especially the sorcerers. And I'm going the wrong way. I keep forgetting you have to go into the dungeon. And I'll probably cut out some of this because, to be completely fair and honest, yes, this is a good build. No, it does not fly through dungeons. I have not yet found a way to just fly through. So, oh god, and we got the freaking lightning bubble. Hi, so I'll just show you guys kind of little snippets here. Close to the beginning of what we've got going on. More or less, you're going to want to get as many mobs as you can rounded up in one little certain area, so... Well, I can't. I got a freaking stupid bubble, dude. Alright, so we've got lucky hit chance galore. Obviously, you see the extra fire shields coming out, which is pretty cool. We're going to make sure we have 2 Hydras on the floor at all times. I was going to use the Hydra enchantment because it says every 200 mana spent, you summon a 5-headed Hydra or whatever. But it doesn't, it still counts towards your 2 Hydras. So you have 1 Hydra, 2 Hydras, right? Now, if you spend the 200 mana from the enchant, right? So after spending 200 mana, a 5-headed Hydra will spawn for 5 seconds. That 5 seconds is actually less time than just casting it, and it doesn't really cast that much. You can see right here, I cast it, and I'm pretty much full mana again already. So, I don't know. Seems like a useless enchant, in my opinion. Maybe Fireball would be a good one. Because they explode for 50% of the damage you deal or something like that. But as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't really... I want to find bigger sets of mobs than just these little guys here. This looks like a pretty good chunk, maybe. Still not. Okay, so I'm going to pop Flame Shield. Now let's see if it's going to reset, because it's based off how much damage you take, or it resets on like when you take damage. I just can't seem to find a big enough pack here. All right. Yeah, you really, the bigger pack you get, the better, for sure. These guys are all just little skellies. I don't know what the heck they're doing here. I gotta keep remembering to bring my Hydras in, because these Hydras, it's only them attacking right now, and you can see that they're doing a pretty good chunk. All right. God, of course it's a kill all everything, and it's you know, not that much going on here. Kill everything. Leave nothing alone. try and get to a little bit more impressive area. I want to find some elites or something. I'm just gonna go over here to this mob pack on the left. Hopefully there's some elites in there, and I can really showcase like the full potential here. Here we go. All right, so we're gonna drop some firewalls. We're gonna drop some hydros. We're gonna start taking damage. Hopefully get our, yep, there goes our flame shield reset. Okay, we just gotta make sure we keep our hydros on the floor. There's a flame shield reset again. Pretty nice to have that uptime on that puppy. And you can obviously see things are burning quite quickly. Level 51, let's go. It's not the best thing in the world, guys, but and there could be a lot of improvements. Let me know in the comments if you think there's something that I could add that would substantially make a difference. I mean, I'd love to do, you know, tier 5s or 10s or whatever the heck I can do at 50. To feel comfortable. Obviously, you get more XP for doing things like that, and plus I need to get some more potions. That would help too. But in the meantime, this is what I got going on, and I hope it motivated you guys to either make a sorcerer or change up your build to hopefully try and help you out a little bit. Thank you guys for watching. Appreciate you much, and we'll see you out there in Sanctuary. Peace.